Stacy, here we are, episode 123. Look at that card you got there.
123. How are you?
I'm doing well. Is that a card? Is it a board? What is that?
It's a clipboard.
Okay.
And then these are all my little printouts
I gotcha. Look at that. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, this is so fantastic. Listen, I love that you're old school, that you do it with ink printing, because
I do.
you know, you'd see like one of these little 20-somethings if they were doing a podcast like this, that had their little digital board.
They'd have an iPad or something, right?
Yeah. This is episode 123. Mom, get out of here. I'm doing a podcast. Mom. I don't know. Okay, so listen, episode 123. Stacy, how are you this week?
I'm good. Same old senior care. Moving on. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty well. We had a little bit of a snowstorm here.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a nice snow, bitter cold. I woke up this morning, it was 3 degrees. 3. You know where else is 3?
Where?
Antarctica.
Yes,
okay?
exactly. It was a
3.
deep freeze. Yeah.
It was, yeah. So it only got up to like 11 today, but that's okay. So
you like it. You like that cold.
I do. I do. I got a little more chapstick on because boy, my lips get so chapped. It's crazy. You know,
Right.
Sue gives me a kiss goodnight before bed. It's like kissing a sandpaper shark.
Scratchy.
It's disgusting. It's so gross.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Sorry. Anyways, hey, what's been happening in our Rocky bubble? What's been going on in the art world?
So, Matthias Beier, he sent us more beautiful Rocky art, and I just wanted to show it off here. Take a look at that. Love this. He's going to be posting this soon, but I just wanted to call him up. He was one of our guests. I apologize, can't remember the number, but he just finished this and got it all framed up. So
that's excellent.
Love the talent. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy talking with him. I haven't really spoken to him in depth lately, but I had given him some. He had asked me. I mean, I'm not going to give him thoughts if he doesn't ask until he showed up in German, and that would scare the hell out of me. But but he asked me a few thoughts and so on, and so we were going back and forth. And I told him, you know, think of things that we've never seen on the screen, but that inspired you, because everyone's inspiration is different from these movies. And I love where he's going with it. It's neat, it's new, different, and nobody else is doing it. So that's what I like about this guy. He's got a great art skill too.
Yeah, it's unique, very different. It's not commonplace at all. So very, very beautiful.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now, Mike, you had a couple things you wanted to show us. These are awesome. So lead it
in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, oh God, probably 2018-ish, 2018. Blitzway, which is a toy company. They make statues and man statues and all types of things. So
that's what he said. Sorry, that sounds interesting.
Oh, Stacy with the rat-tat-tat. Jeez, I didn't see that one coming, Stacy.
Every once in a while.
Aren't you like a librarian type? Aren't you supposed to be? Oh, that's right. Whatever you say is right, Mike. Sure.
Well, I was surprised you let it go by.
Yeah, no,
I was letting that one go.
Jeez,
continue.
That was good. No, that made me laugh. I like that. So, okay. So Blitzway they have some great products. One of them I bought in 2018, which is the Rocky 2 figure. This figure is probably the best Rocky statue that exists out there. Butkus is great, the collar, everything. That gold chain, that comes off. That's a real little chain.
Oh, that's cool.
The bracelet, the gloves, everything. The head, and when you turn it around, on the back is the tiger perfectly done, just like Rocky's, right? Nice. So I had to have this because this to me is perfection.
Yeah.
Now, Blitzway's put out a new figure, the Rocky 1 figure. And I debated on this. I went back and forth for a while. I think I said, there you go.
Yeah.
So I really like this. I'm very, very interested in it. And it just went up just not that long ago. You could put in the deposit on it, which I did. And a couple of months it'll be out for delivery. But when you go on the website and you look for the Blitzway Rocky 1, this you go into high definition pictures and you could really look at the jacket and just they really did really, really well. Some angles I was a little concerned with certain angles, but when you go to the website and you look at all the pictures that it has, it's just really remarkable. So I'm very excited, and that's going to be my bookend. Now these are probably, geez, how tall is that? Almost 18 inches, 19 inches.
Really?
So it's good height.
It is. That's nice and tall.
Yeah,
Good.
it's pretty good. So I'm very excited about that, and I can't wait to talk about that here whenever it arrives. So
yeah, we'll show it off up close. On the
yeah,
there.
exactly right. We'll just put it in your face. Exactly. What was that kind of noise you made there? I like that. I like that. That's like if they,
my other talent.
I love that. If they made like a kung fu action figure Stacy doll, it would be. I love that.
How about that AI? Tell us about that
AI.
AI.
Okay, how about this? My dear friend, who's really a great guy from Kentucky. His name is Steven. I love this guy. I have some of the best conversations in the world. He sends me a thing this morning, an AI generated clip of a older Rambo and Teasle taking a selfie. Would you show us that, please?
Be prepared. It comes off real loud. Hold on.
It's short. I know it's short. Listen, can you do it one more time?
Sure.
Come on. Right?
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay. So I took that and I sent it to Sly this morning. I was stuck in traffic. It was bumper to bumper, wasn't moving for about 6 minutes. I'm like, well, what can I do? Well, I'll go on and maybe I'll send this to Sly. So I did. I texted him, sent it, and he writes me back in the middle of a tour. It was the greatest thing in the world. He writes, well, as a matter of fact, here, I'll tell you what he wrote. Let me pull it up here. Okay, Stace, you can throw this up on screen and I'll give it a quick read.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I've been telling Amazon to do. Make a prequel, AIM. What does that stand for, Stacy? AI generated? Yeah, it's whatever it is. A movie of
AI movie? Yeah.
Yeah. Movie of a young John Rambo in Vietnam, all the trauma, all the glory, and eventually the reason why he became so dark. He entered the war an optimistic, outgoing, popular, talkative individual and ended up the way we met him in First Blood. AI is ready to make a complete AI movie, and I told them First Blood would be the perfect start, but that takes nerve and maybe they're not ready. So who knows? This is something that to get Sly's mind in there, the way he's thinking about Rambo is great, because even though it's the Rocky Files, I mean, I think fans would like to hear that, where he's thinking the character can go possibly. And this is just, we've heard rumors about this for a while, but this is just one more, I don't know, verification. And I found it very, very illuminating. I was very nervous to send it to him, but I sent him AI pictures in the past, and he liked them, and we had a small conversation over it. And he also did the Godfather thing. You know what? You could probably throw that in here, Stacy. This past week, Sly put up a AI fake video of Sly for Godfather 4 as Sly, the role of the Don. And he seemed to take it in stride, but he goes, don't put a lot of thought into this. This is just a really cool picture. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe Sly's kind of understanding about it. And so Sly sees the writing on the wall. Now, boy, you can go any way you want with this AI. Is it a problem? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Are actors going to feel they're being pushed out? I certainly can see everyone's concerns. Writers, artists.
Yeah.
I mean, if an AI creates it, who owns the rights to it?
I know. It's
right?
It's very controversial. And I don't know what the answer is. All I know is part of the time I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Look what you can do. And the technology is amazing. The fact that we have it, but you do have to be responsible with it and make sure you're not taking jobs away from writers, from actors and all that. And So,
But you know what I liken it to Stacy? I remember having these conversations with my dad every so often. You know, uh, horse and buggy. I'm sure the first horse and buggy mechanic saw the Ford coming down the road saying, "Oh, that's it. We're out of here. They're not going to need humans. They're not going to need us anymore."
yeah, right.
So maybe there's a way that they can have transference of their jobs. So, okay, maybe a writer segues into something else that's not even created yet, some new position that only a human writer's background can fulfill. I don't know.
Right. It's funny because our guest today, who is here, John Frost, could probably add to this conversation because he's right in the thick of this.
We have a guest?
We do have a guest.
We do?
And Michael, John, he knew he's playing. Oh my goodness. So when I told him you were the guest, he was like, awesome.
I was very happy about this because
very excited.
I have some thoughts and questions. I'm very impressed with this guy. Can you give Barbara a yell? Tell her to, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Barbara can bring him in.
Hang on, John, come on in. Hey, my dear, how are you?
All right, doing well. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You sound great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Got the headphones on. Nice.
John, as we used to say back in the early 90s, what's poppin', G?
Mike, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's finally nice to meet you both.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a privilege, man. I saw there's a few things that we're going to get to in a minute, but since we're on the AI topic, Stacy, John, what's your thoughts on this? We were just kibitzing a little bit about what I sent to Sly, and I don't know, what's your thoughts?
With AI, yeah, that's a big topic, big conversation for sure. I use it on a daily basis. That's what
we should say. We didn't even say, who are you, John? What do you do for a living?
Who are you, John Frost? Tell us your background.
Well, I'm a cinematographer and a director. I've mainly been working as cinematographer since about 2009 when I moved out to Los Angeles to pursue a career in cinematography. But these days I find myself more directing, and I think this Rumble short was also like a big step for me into the narrative sort of gateway. But yeah, I'm a cinematographer, director in Los Angeles, originally from Chicago.
Ah, Chi-Town, nice.
That's right, yeah.
Nice. So how does this AI figure in your world, your thoughts, your friends, your coworkers? Because you got to be one of the top guys to talk to about this, who it could potentially affect immediately or at some point.
Yeah, I find that there's a real dichotomy, kind of, a duality between it. There's a love or hate. Yeah. And I can understand the hate. But for me, it's bigger than the movie industry. It's here to stay. I understand the, jobs being at risk. But I think in the current moment, when it comes for writers or creatives, it's a real tool. And I think it's a helpful tool too. It can help you write just kind of like a clearer, more structured foundation if you're sort of lacking that as like a writer.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of things about me. Like, I definitely struggle to write, and I think that's like one way that I actually relate with Stallone, because I know that when he was first starting, he would draw a lot of the pictures versus writing, because he would see before he can write, and that's something that I really gravitate towards too. Nice. So like when it comes to writing, it's a real helpful tool for me personally.
Yeah.
I can see why it's scary visually from a cinematographer standpoint. I feel a little scared because it's so good and it's so fast. So that there we are. That's where we're at with it.
Okay. Yeah. Have you seen the thing with Rambo as an older Stallone with Teasle? Did you get a chance to see that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Stacy, one more time. Show John this. Awesome. This is awesome. Come on. Rambo and Teasle, decades later, a selfie. This is incredible, right?
So you're into it, Mike. You're all about it.
I am, but I do share the concerns. I mean, we're not going to get into it, but there's the dark side of it where they can make politicians, celebrities, your next door neighbors say what has never been, they never said or did or whatever. So there's obviously that with it that's going to have to deal with. But just from a creative point of view, I wonder who owns the rights to a story created by AI or that picture? Who owns the right? Is it the video company? Like, I think Google has VO Google or something. I'm not sure if I'm right on that, but they have their own little AI thing. And so how can we use that? I want to use that. I have tons of great ideas with Rocky, and that I would love to see pictures and little 10-second clips. How do I do that?
Oh, Mike, you could do that on ChatGPT if you want. ChatGPT will create images. You just type whatever text you want. It'll
On
create
ChatGPT. So I have it. So
Yeah.
So instead of asking it to write a paragraph, I just tell it create a picture with, and then describe it.
Yeah, you could say selfie with Stallone, and it'll create that image. And if you don't like what it put out, you can just kind of constantly adjust it.
Tweak it. Yeah.
See, but then I worry that ChatGPT will, or whatever it is, will say, no, this is owned by MGM. We can't create this image.
Sometimes it'll say we can't do it because you're using a name. But again, that's just sort of like language workarounds.
Oh, right.
You know, so it's actually, that is scary. But it's just great for creatives. It's like you have all this in your head. You know, it's like if I lack the ability to draw or paint or whatever, it's like you can take what's in your head and put it out there to show somebody else. And I think that's the powerful part of it.
Yeah,
you know?
Gotcha.
The dangerous is the political and the confusion, just the overall confusion that could and most likely will create. But there's a powerful tool. Like I really take the positive side of it because it's really easy to kind of hate on it. And I do think the industry really, specifically the creatives, the artists, the cinematographers, and the writers are there's a big threat. And I don't want to downplay that either, but of course. It's here to stay, and it's bigger than the film industry.
So you're a glass half full guy.
Not usually, but when it comes to this, yeah.
Great.
Honestly, not usually, but yeah, I think when it comes to this, because it's just, it just helps me so much. It helps me with my work. It helps a lot. Just general basic things. Yeah.
You're blowing my mind a little bit because I have several, I'm a writer myself, and I have many storylines. I have things that are 50% written, 40% written, 60% written. Now I have the whole thing out on storyboard, but I never really even thought about how it can help me at least complete my own idea. Because I'm sorry. I love AI as far as math, science, statistics, and what it can do for med students and nursing students. It's really revolutionized education in those ways. But I've always gotten a little nervous on the creative side because you're like, wait a minute, what is this taking away from? Is this taking an opportunity away from somebody, or is it somehow more clever, and so now AI is going to be writing all our super perfectly clever storylines and taking jobs from a writer. I don't know, but I never thought of sort of paring it down, that I can feed it my idea. It's all my idea, but it helps me get to completion. That's kind of cool.
Absolutely. It's like a teacher. It's an instructor. Right. And so you can upload a script. Hey, give me a critique. What do you think? And if you can handle feedback from a computer, it's like, it's maybe less, like, whoa, there, it's a computer. But
well, that's what they said in war games. Shall we play a game?
Shall we play a game?
And then it's nuclear diffusion, man. Forget about it.
DEFCON 5.
Oh my God. Joshua was the name of the computer. That's right. Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua. Nice.
Joshua. Well, listen, this is the Rocky Files podcast, not the Writer's Corner. So as much as I could talk, Stacy and I are both writers, and we could talk this for quite a long time with you, John. Stacy, why don't you lead off with what it is you've got Rocky-wise for our guests?
Yeah, so let me play. This is 30 seconds. This is on your Instagram. This is Rumble. This is your trailer.
This is how I found this guy. This was amazing.
To your 7-minute movie here. Hang on.
Nice.
Yes. So I loved every second of that. I think this is fantastic. What did we just watch, John?
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It means a lot, like knowing how much of a fan you both are. That really means a lot. Thank you so much.
So well done. And
Thank
it's
you so
not
much.
long enough. I want the other 100 minutes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. How much do you want? I can kind of go back from the start and just kind of talk about,
Yeah,
how it came
go
to
from the start.
fruition and
Yeah. Stacy and I think you got more than enough that our watchers are going to love this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go, just stop me at any point. But I think, where it all began is obviously, I'm a fan of the movie Rocky, even a bigger fan of Stallone himself and his movies. And so obviously there's just that seed in the back of my mind. There must have been. But I was just doing a shoot. It was a Disney promo and we were filming. It was just a couple days before the pandemic started.
Oh.
And we were in Orlando, and I was working with Trevor, and he was doing a promo for a Disney film that he'd been in. And so I was filming that, and we worked together maybe a few times since then. And just out of nowhere, they were in between takes, and we're just kind of mulling about, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, he really looks like a young version of Stallone.
Sure. Of course he does.
And so I go up to him and I ask him if he's familiar and if he knows the story, that Stallone tells about, having to sell his dog just to make ends meet, writing the script in 3 days. And it turns out he knew it. He was a big fan of it. And it's like, great, let's do something. And so it started as a short. And I said, okay, I'm going to write a short. So the pandemic happened. I got a short written, sent it out, and it was the pandemic, so we couldn't really film, couldn't really do anything. And then eventually I started to think, what, this is too ambitious. It's like a 15-page, we're talking, it's probably like a 20-minute, 30-minute film. I had a whole monologue written, like as he's about to sell butt kiss, really kind of honing in on those moments. But then I just thought practically it's just not going to get this done. Let's turn it into just like a trailer, a hype trailer. Like, what if, let's just see what that looked like, when he wrote that script in 3 days, and whatever, if it turns out to be 60 seconds, whatever. And so we rewrote the script, and we were literally shopping for props and everything. And then the actor strike happened. And so at that moment we could have filmed, but, Trevor and the other actors, they're all SAG, and they just didn't want to take a risk. And even though it was a super, super low budget thing, we just kind of pumped the brakes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, a little time went on. Everything sort of changed. The sort of people that were involved changed a little bit. And then I kind of rewrote the script, just kind of tightened it up, made it a little more of a story, less of a trailer, just to see. And then it's just we just got into casting. Sasha, who plays Sasha, Jordan, is actually Trevor's wife. So
okay,
their chemistry just was unbelievable, like unexpected, unbelievable. I mean, they're both very, very talented, but like the two of them together was just amazing. They added so much breath and life, just to those scenes. And so we shot it over 2 days in Koreatown, Los Angeles, during a heat wave.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh boy. Tough.
So that's kind of like the cliff notes of how we kind of got that going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about your history with your, fanboyness of being a Rocky fan. When were you first introduced to Rocky as a kid, and all that sort of the journey?
Yeah. I mean, Rocky's just it's just the character's been in my life, my whole life. I mean, I was born in the mid 80s, so I grew up in the early 90s. So it's like, I can't say that I have a very whoa, this is when I saw it, but most likely it was in my living room on a VHS, probably around 91 or 92.
Yeah.
And it's just the feeling. It's just that I want to say at that time I was a young boy. So it's like this kind of boyish, I just got to go out and do something. Like those horns and the running, and I was really into sports and connecting with that. As I get older, I learn more about the character and actually the depth that he has, that the character is, and that he has, and and it's just like more and more it just parallels with me, just like the underdog, just being the underdog. And I think for me, like growing up with asthma, being born with asthma, and
Right. Wow.
it's just like automatically an underdog situation, I think, like bad asthma and just kind of overcoming those things. And
Sure.
yeah, I think that's kind of, where it started, especially just growing up, being bullied, being misunderstood, and I think that that's something that Rocky really kind of, it's like a misunderstood. And also I think doing a lot of research for this, and just like, we're talking pre-Rocky, right? Like before, this is actually before he created the character. Like that's when it was still here.
Yeah.
Which is a really fascinating thing to think about, right? Like that when he's starting to build it. So it's been multi-dimensional for me. And I think when I went to film school, I think Rocky was there, but I was definitely more Stallone, Cobra, over the top, Copland. I would say that those are like my three really
great movie.
Yeah. So
vastly underrated. Stallone's performance is underrated. I'm not saying that because I'm a Stallone movie fan. I'm not saying it because I know the guy. I genuinely feel Copland was one of the performances that was very, very underrated, along with Fist, where he plays labor leader Johnny Kovac. That's another thing that was very underrated. But yeah, you're so right. Copland is incredible. If you have, for all the Rockies, right, is there one that you have that's a particular favorite for you, or are you just across the board perfection?
The first one, I think. I think it's just hands down. I think it's just kind of like, that is the statue. You know what I mean? From which everything else stands upon.
Right.
It's there's so much. Yeah.
I wanted to show off some of your pictures, but it was interesting to hear you say, as you got older and you understood Rocky more than just memorizing lines or knowing the scenes, but the depth.
Yeah.
I mean, you captured that so well in a short period of time, the struggle, the uncertainty, am I ever going to make anything of myself? And as an actor, Trevor was just like, he conveyed that just in his face. In that one scene where he's calling about the job, hey, just calling about that job. Oh, okay, thanks. And then he, slams the phone down. Oh, like I felt that like in my throat. We've all been there.
Awesome.
Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to eat? You really captured that pre-fame desperation that he was going through. I'm just going to click through some pictures.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So here he is. I just showed this and talk about a perfect pick.
Yeah, and that's a wig. And the wig, there was a lot of discussion whether we were going to do a wig, and it just you had to. It just turned out great. Yeah. I mean, it really fit him well. And then the costumes, like I really wanted to be as authentic as we could. So we actually shopped all the costumes at Universal Studios, just getting real authentic vintage. Kendall was the wardrobe designer, and just did a great job. I mean, all the wardrobe is from the era. It's like, I just wanted to feel the textures just of that gritty Hell's Kitchen, New York, early mid 70s, but we're cheating this for the middle of summer in Koreatown, Los Angeles. Right. And it just really honored that. And why I say also like why I really like the first Rocky too, because it is the skeleton. It's the nuts and bolts, the run and gun, low budget, let's just make this movie, it's not a fighting movie. It's about love. Yeah. And so that's why I moved in this, because, it would be really easy and actually a lot of fun to take Trevor to Philadelphia and get him in a gray suit and like, let's run around and just make like a really hype thing. But that's not like the rawness of what Rocky is, in my opinion. When it comes to the depth of things,
Agreed.
It's a love story. And so I just wanted to tell that very simple, and that's for me, it's just like as an underdog too, it's like, and as a director, it's like, can you just take some of these pages on these words, with a couple really talented actors, and they just, it's like, it's hard to do that, So, just so that's kind of where it all came from,
You know, some of my favorite stories from Sly is when he's in director mode and something goes wrong, and on the spot he has to change the script. You know, there were supposed to be 200 extras at the ice rink and that didn't happen, and you have to turn on a dime. Production dollars, production hours. Like, did that happen? Did you have to put on that hat? Like, okay, what would Stallone do right now because it's not going as planned? Like, that sort of thought just sends my blood pressure through the roof.
Yeah, oh, that's a funny question. It's really cool because thankfully it was a really smooth shoot for a couple of days.
Great.
And to be honest, but I do have a fun story for that. But to be honest, it's that apartment location was on the 6th floor of a building that didn't have an elevator. So on top of it being like 100 degrees, it was a crew of about 10 people who absolutely just brought everything and didn't complain. And there was so much stuff. We had to lug up and down, everything had to get up there with no elevators, 100 degrees, no air conditioning, and it was the conditions were real. Exactly. I love the low budget run and gun and what you can get out of it. But to answer that question, actually, we were doing pickups because I had real shots of the film Rocky in it, when we're cutting away to what he's typing and he's imagining these scenes from the film Rocky. I was doing reshoots because we can't use those. I can't submit the film to film festivals using copyrighted Rocky material. So I had to go and reshoot those specific scenes. And so I had to find another apartment location to shoot in. And the night before, they canceled the entire, they said, we can't, the water's not working right now, we're sorry. So the night before the reshoot, I completely lost the location.
Oh my God. Which
would be just absolutely disastrous, like in any other situation. But it was like one of those moments where it's just like, well, it doesn't matter. I have to do this because it's like, I already have everyone hired. I already sent out emails, like, no way. So I just had to go on this tear to find another location that's going to match a 1970s
vibe,
haggard, New York apartment. And so I think maybe in there you could see a couple side by side when they're embracing, like in the corner by the door, and there's like boxing gloves hanging on the door. But anyways, like, so we just had to replicate those and just got really lucky. But that was like a moment where I'm like, oh, okay, great. It's like things felt really against me in that moment, but just push through, whatever.
So 2 questions I have. One, how you get around doing this under the guise of Rocky and all that? And 2, do you rely on the fair use of imagery? Because in my documentary, we were able to use pictures of Rocky and video under fair use to a degree. So how much of that could you use of Rocky to a degree in yours?
Yeah, I think when it comes to a short film, I think zero. I think when it comes to the character of Rocky, I think it's okay. It's not like I don't know 100%, but you can do it. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, because I've read that that the Farrelly brothers are making
they are
the film, right? And so do we know if Sly knows about it or gave them permission?
He does. He does. He's kind of like a distant producer on it.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah.
But the thing that aggravates me about this is that I have a lot of respect for the Pete Farley, is it? I think it is.
Yeah, Pete Farrelly, I believe. Peter
Farrelly. Yeah. So I appreciate his work, but he put out a bunch of stuff on Instagram, and like half of it was wrong, exaggerated, not accurate. Like in this thing, he said he was in New York, homeless in New York when he was writing Rocky. No, he had a crappy apartment with Sasha in LA, in Hollywood. So there was a lot of little tiny things that bothered me, and I thought, man, if I know this is just surface stuff that a lot of fans know, like what else are they going to get wrong? So that aggravates me about that, and I guess it's a sore subject. You brought that up, and it just
no, I mean it's okay. I don't really know a lot of information other than like the Variety articles that I read. Yeah. But what I will say is, like, when we before we shot the short, it did feel like it's not going to happen. You know, it's like after this writer's strike and whatever. One morning, I started getting texts from a bunch of, workers and friends. They were texting me that Variety article because they knew that I was trying to get this thing off the ground.
Right.
And it was in that moment where I was like, you know what? Anybody else would just be like, okay, now I'm definitely not making it because there's already a director that's already, gunning to make it and all that. And I said, well, you know what? I'll just do the opposite. Screw it. Let's just make it. Let's just make it. Because I did see, I'm like, I've heard the script is really good. I've read that the script is really good for the I Play Rocky film. Yeah. But I just thought, you know what? They're going to make it about the Hollywood elite. Like I'm shopping the script, not it's going to be about shopping the movie script, not about the origins and like the heart and the core of the character.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's why I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to make it anyways. And worst case, it'll be a beautiful calling card for Trevor. And if Trevor can get into that room and audition for I Play Rocky, that's a win no matter what.
Yeah, I think he has a good shot at it because I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I really do. And I think, Stacy, you're going to play that at some point during the podcast, right?
Yes.
It's been 3 weeks, Michael. I'm not running a charity here.
I told you I'd have it by the end of the week.
That's what you always say. This is your last chance. Pay up. You're gonna be gone. This is your last chance. Pay up or you're gone.
Sweetie.
Butt kiss. Butt kiss, come here.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead, for you and the baby. Go ahead. All right, butt kiss, you and me. Breakfast for dinner, butt kiss. I know, me too, buddy. I thought you liked this. All right, cheers. Hey, how's it going? It's Michael, Stallone. Yeah, I was just calling about that job. All right, cool. Thank you.
Hey.
Hey.
So, did you get the job?
Baby. No.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Baby, when I'm done with this, there's gonna be no more worrying about no bit parts.
It's just the page has been blank for months, and I mean, look at me.
Yeah, I know. I promise. I promise. Okay? I don't know what else to do. Hey, Buckus. Come on.
Somehow we found each other, John. And I remember I reached out to you a little bit in the past, and I was really, really blown away by that. And I had talked to a bunch of people, and they thought it was just absolutely fantastic. And this is something that only gets created by someone who understands this character past the fanboy level.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're
It's the
Go ahead.
machismo, the machismo. There's like a machismo that
Yeah.
comes with Rocky, which isn't a bad thing at all. But I think that there's layers.
There are layers.
There's hearts, and I think that also kind of doubles down on Stallone's being misunderstood and Stallone being the underdog.
Very much so.
Mhm.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
So tell us what sort of attention has it gotten? It looks like awards. Let me go back
A little, yeah. So I have it submitted. I think I didn't even have this as a plan, but it was just supposed to be a hype trailer, and it ended up being 6 minutes. That's actually my brother on the right in the Grateful Dead. He's the editor, so he edited it. He's an editor here in Los Angeles, and I kind of lost my train of thought there looking at the picture, but
oh, that's okay. No, like I was just curious, like where it's been seen and viewed, and accolades and all that.
So I submitted to about 10 festivals. You just kind of upload it and you just bang, submit to these festivals and just kind of wait and see. It was never really a plan. I think the plan was just like, let's just make it and just release it. Just get it out there because why not? There's no reason to hold on to it or gatekeep it so anyways, it's out there and we do have it in some festivals. It played at a film festival called the Lynchburg Film Festival in West Virginia. And then it played here. That photo that you had up was the Culver City Film Festival.
Nice.
So it's played in 2 festivals and we're just kind of waiting. Maybe there's a couple of notifications in February and it's in festivals or up in consideration all the way through June or something. So that's kind of where it's at. Yeah.
Now, can you keep going? do you have more? Is the storyboard 100 more minutes somewhere?
I mean, how awesome would that be? You know, I mean, it's just like, I would love to make that movie, you know, but it's just like run and gun, low budget,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
hard.
scrappy. It's like, because that's what Rocky is, you know.
To me, I would rather, and it's not because you're here right now, I would rather see that type of a thing than everything I've read that's going on about I Play Rocky. I'm not saying Play Rocky is going to be bad. I'm not. I'm just, I don't like it polished and glitzy.
Right.
I like it gritty.
Yeah, there's a
ugly.
spirit. There's a spirit to the low budget,
There
know,
really
that you
is.
can't duplicate. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's
really
why
is.
we love Rocky, right?
Mm.
It's why Rocky, that first film, is played every Thanksgiving, every Christmas. It's why it's such a classic. It's why I have a tour. It is why we have this podcast. This first Rocky has grabbed people literally by the face and threw them across the room, skidding into a pile of laundry clothes. It's incredible, this movie, and it's that grittiness. And I really think you tapped into the same well that Sly did. That's what I feel.
I appreciate that.
I mean, if it were high budget, it wouldn't even feel the same. You know, it'd be too much. It'd be over the top. And I just, I hope that there's maybe some angle.
Right?
You can,
exactly.
Yeah. Take it. So tell us about other things you've done, other projects. What's on your horizon, Rocky related or not? Like what else is there?
Not so much Rocky, I guess, not so much Rocky related, but I think in regards to continuing, you know, it's like putting this together. You know, I kind of did it from the ground up, more or less, bringing on people to help throughout. And I learned so much putting this short together, you know, putting a team together, you know, seeing it from the beginning all the way through the end. And I learned so much working with Jordan and Trevor. I mean, they taught me so much. I mean, they're just such experienced actors. And, you know, Jordan, I think she won the So You Think You Could Dance Canada, like first place. Like, yeah, nice. she's just, they're both just stars. So, you know, moving forward, I actually wrote a short horror film.
Oh, cool.
Written for the two of them. To be in. So that's kind of, you know, I'm just kind of putting that together right now. And then, you know, I just sort of work, I just kind of travel around and film commercials and stuff. But after this, it's like, it's like hopefully a rebirth, a reawakening into like narrative. Because I used to shoot like horror films 5 to 10 years ago. And then I kind of drifted into commercials. Yeah, there's different paths, I guess, in the industry, right? So doing this, I'm just getting back in the narrative and just, you know, I learned more about myself through these years and I have more to maybe put back in. So that's kind of the pursuit. Yeah.
Nice. That is very cool. And we have Jason Nike. As soon as you're done, he loves horror. That's one of that's his thing. That's his wheelhouse. He reviews a lot of horror. So he would interview you.
That's awesome.
If you had something like that, he's great. We love him.
Nice.
Awesome. Wow, my dear. Well, thank you so much. Mike, did you have other questions? We're just very excited to show this to our folks.
Awesome.
I can't wait for everybody to watch this because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to get the popcorn. I'm going to watch it for the next 6 minutes. But listen, before we let you go, John, before let you get on to whatever it is you're doing, and we don't want to hold you up. We know you're probably having dinner with the mayor. You're probably
no. It's nothing. No. You know.
No, I'm just being what my mother calls a wise ass. So
I see the pretender. Your parents are adorable.
Yeah, they are adorable. Thank you. They are.
So good.
My mother steals that movie at the end when she says he's my son. I'll get choked up right now.
I know.
I love it. No, I love how you open it too, though. How you open it, man. It's just so humble. Your first lines are so humble. You're like, I had what I needed growing up. I got food. You know what I mean? It's
that was
Here I am. It's really humbling, and you know.
That's the thing my parents gave us. It was the building blocks, I think, of a somewhat lucid individual. Somewhat. And I wish more kids had that type of parenting. Anyways, there's 2 questions I love to ask all of our guests before we get you guys out of here. So you go back in time. What would you say to an 11-year-old John Frost? If you had any advice, doesn't have to be Rocky related, what would you say?
Trust yourself. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust that intuition.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
I do subscribe to that as well. Okay, here's the one that I love the most. You are in an elevator with Sylvester Stallone. You got 30 seconds between floors. What do you say to him?
Oh man,
I know. My favorite question, man.
Yeah, this has happened to me in my life, right? Where I meet people,
right,
and I never fanboy out.
Right.
If anything, I'll just say, hey, I'm a big fan. Thank you for everything that you've done. Most cases, I probably wouldn't say anything. I mean, that's the genuine. I know we're looking for but that's just, it's hard, you know.
I know. That's a big thing. You know, it's funny because a lot of people say what they think they would say, and then a lot of people are very honest, like yourself, and say, that's probably what we go. I'm going to leave you one quick story from Michael Rappaport. When he was on set during Copland, he was talking to Stallone about Rocky. Michael Rappaport is one of the biggest actors in Hollywood that is a Rocky fanatic. He will write me, Mike, what happened in this scene? Do you know? I go, yeah, okay, now I'll clear me. He goes, that's fantastic. So there's a scene. Stallone's leaning up against one of the cop cars in Copland. Michael's leaning up against the other one, and he's talking about Rocky. And it's in between takes, and Stallone does it, and everything's fine. He goes to the director, and he tells the director, listen, I love Michael, but you got to keep him away from me. I'm trying to get into the character, and he's talking to me about Rocky. So the director said, you can't talk to Stallone. Get away from him. And this is a seasoned actor like Rappaport, right? Here's a guy who's a very earthy street guy, Rappaport, and even he geeks out.
Yeah.
You know, and it happened. First time I saw Sly, I cried. So, I mean, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It'd be amazing to work with him, but I would never, I just love things being organic, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's just
I agree.
that's, you know, that would be amazing. We could do a whole podcast on Copland for real.
Yeah, I know. Oh, totally. It was unbelievable. What a phenomenal movie.
It really is. It really is. Yeah.
Stacy, before we let John go, anything you want to say before we let him go?
No, thank you. You know what I was thinking? If you do get that elevator moment, it's the mentorship. His life has served it as a mentorship, just watching everything he does, not just with Rocky, but as a director. And I think that, I don't know, you never know if you bump into him, that he's taught so many writers and directors things that you just don't know naturally that experience gives you. And through his experience, you get to absorb that experience into your own way of doing things as a writer and director. And maybe that is part of
great insight. Yeah, that's a great insight. No, that's awesome. It is. It's like, yeah, thank you. It's like, it's because so much of it is unseen, right? It just becomes like a reactive thing because you just put it in your system, in your psyche, you know?
Yeah. Cool. And I appreciate that you didn't get talked out of it, because Stallone, so many people tried to talk him out of so many things, and he's like, no. And you didn't get talked out of it. So good for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, no, it was a real thing to kind of push through. I'm so happy that I did it, because it is a really hard thing to do, self-funded. It really, you know. Yeah. So I'm happy.
That's the nuts and bolts of how he did it. So that parallel is, you captured that in your own life. So that's very cool.
That's cool.
John, where can people find you?
Oh, on Instagram, just John Frost. I think there's an extra T at the end of Frost, but yeah.
2 T's.
Yeah. That's right, 2 T's. Yeah.
You've got the perfect name for a guest today, because it's about 11 degrees outside.
Right?
Freezing.
And I thought it was cold here. It's probably like 60 degrees. I was like, it's so cold.
Right.
Yeah. okay.
I don't know. I don't know what's happened to me. You know, I'm from Chicago.
You're from Chicago.
I know. It's
Jesus.
just like, yeah.
Hey, John, listen, you have been a breath of fresh air. We love you,
thank
buddy.
you.
And
Yeah, thank you.
until we see you again, buddy, keep
punching.
punching, buddy.
Yeah, nice.
Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yep.
You got it, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I like that guy.
Yeah, I love that guy.
That's a guy you can have a beer, a pizza, a coffee with,
Mhm.
and it just you can kind of geek out on a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. You can just see the geekiness is right there underneath the surface, ready to explode about Rocky and Sly and stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, it's that's my type of guy.
I love people who go for it, who dare, you
Gotta do
know.
it.
And so many people are out there, pardon my French, but so many people are there just shit on you, to shit on your
Yes.
idea. And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just glad he didn't say, nah. He's like, he doubled down and he got it done.
Yeah.
And who cares what other people are doing? I want to get my idea out. I hope someday he can do more with it. But if he can capture that much in 7 minutes, even his own writing projects, I would love to see more from him. So
Totally agreed.
yeah, sweet
Yeah.
guy.
Good guy.
All right, my dear. So episode 123 in
In the bag, in the can, in the tin, going out to movie theaters. It'll be showing this Thursday, 7:00. Link in bio. You know what to do. YouTube. Stacy, where are you at? Where can people find your loveliness?
I am on Instagram at Had Me at Yo, as well as the Rocky Files, and we are on Facebook at the Rocky Files podcast. And Michael, what about you?
Well, I thought I was going to be canceled on TikTok, but that went down for 2 hours, and people just about shit themselves. What am I going to do? No TikTok. So I am the Yo Philly Film Tour there on Instagram. I am also the Yo Philly Film Tour. That's where I do most of my posting. I'm over on Facebook at the Yo Philly Film Tour. And also I wrote a little book called Cue the Rocky Music, which there you go, covered by my niece, Lauren. It's not a bad book. Kills spiders, fits in the nice little bag for a gift, and a little movie I was a part of called The Pretender. People, the dream is real. The great Jimmy Toscano put this sucker together, and it's an award-winning film. Check it out. Sly is in it. So,
Awesome.
Stacy, I'll see you next week, pal.
See you next week. Thanks so much.
Keep punching, everybody. Boom.
Boom. Bye-bye.
Bye.